Hey there everyone, welcome to another video of me doing a master map. I'm going to be doing the Adamar Sanctum master map this time with an archer. So about a week ago I did this as a wizard and I created some insane build for me to play it through where I'm kind of powerful enough to do it but not overpowered. And I've done the same now for archer, so I've gone for very similar armor of 4 million. The damage is about 100,000 again. This is with a damage potion on, but it's gone over that. And almost exactly the same power. So yeah, the stats are very, very similar. Except while on the wizard class I did a fire shadow build, this one I've done pure water. Now most archers are fire out there, and that's because of scorching arrows. However, now we have chilling arrows, which to be honest hasn't actually released properly yet. I've been using it a lot in my videos recently. But actually the water build is ultimately the best, I think, when you look at stuff. The only thing which fire builds have got is the Mark of Ignition, which is a lot better than Mark of Ice. However, to be honest, when I look at this as a whole and how it works, water gets a better overall output than a fire build does. But anyway, so that's why I've gone with water here. So you can look at the stats there. I've gone for 950% water, which is slightly more than the fire and shadow I had, but because it's in one element, I thought I should push it a little bit beyond. I went with 950% randomly, and it works quite well, so that's what I've stuck with. Now, looking at the build itself, the passives, you've got the usual kind of passives there. I accidentally put 11 in this. But yeah, so usual passives here. I didn't really need the extra mana. I've actually got a load of mana jewels on, so I've got 7,500. But yeah, so I just kind of got that in there, because ultimately, if you had all the skill points in the world, you'd probably put those on. And then you probably actually do the PvP health as well, just for PvP. But anyway, so as for the build itself, as you can see, I'm not using that many skills. Lots of the skills are at 10 out of 99 because there's not a huge benefit of getting to 99. With Wizard, I was using some pet skills. I was using Mimic and Drake. Now I found, actually, for whatever reason, in these later master maps, the pet damage isn't very high. It seems to cap out. Now, on the master map board, it shows the power of the enemies up to a certain point, up to 150,000. And then it just doesn't kind of display it. So it's not obvious what power they are. However, I can definitely tell that they're way beyond 150,000 power, more like 200,000 or 250,000. It's hard to know for sure, but basically the pet damage seems to cap out a little bit beyond 150,000. So in fact, you're not doing much more damage. However, the enemies have way more health. So ultimately, pet skills aren't that useful on Adamar Sanctum. In Wizard, it didn't really matter so much. I mean, I was going to use Drake for distracting the enemies anyway, so that wasn't important. But here, you can't use Ballista the way you could do in the past for certain maps. This just doesn't do enough damage to take things out. Similarly, Falconer doesn't really do a lot of damage. I'm just using Stone Bear here for distracting the enemies. So again, this level 99 reduces the cooldown massively, so it's actually not spammable, but you can have a Stone Bear out a fair amount of the time. You can refresh it and have that little extra layer of defense before you get hit. So that's why I've got Stone Bear on. And then also Shroud Guard and Dark Mist. These two are very defensive skills, not useful that much in this case. However, Shroud Guard is a good way to heal up very quickly, and it's awesome for PvP. All other cases are PvE, unless you're doing like overpowered now with the cooldown potion. So yeah, that's a great skill to have anyway. And then the Dark Mist is good to get away any enemies if they do end up next to you, because that can happen, as you'll see when I do the run. However, what I'm going to be doing mainly for damage output is going to be my basic attacks, and that is with Piercing Ice, Ice Blast Shot, and Chilling Arrows on. Now, Chilling Arrows, Scorching Arrows, same thing really, just fire and water. Ice Blasting Shot, there's actually a Power Blasting Shot here, which is a fire version. The main reason why I went for water is because there's Piercing Ice and there isn't like a Piercing Fire yet. So anyway, these add a load of extra damage onto the basic attacks, as well as Piercing Shots, extra damage from range. So yeah, it means the basic attacks do a lot of damage. And then with Volley, this is the only other damage option I have. Only other damage option I have. And the reason why I have it 99 rather than 10, not a huge difference when you've got this high water stat. However, I'm not going to be using it that much, so I want it to do the most damage it can when I do use it. Because I'm focusing on the basic attacks mainly, and I don't want a huge break in them from spamming this off too frequently and doing less damage. So yeah, I've got that level 99. It doesn't have to be, but anyway, Then the final couple of skills, you've got Mark of Ice. So this basically makes one enemy take a lot more damage from range. It's very useful for a quick kill, and then also when you get to the bosses, it speeds up the battle a lot. So Mark of Ice, the skill rune just adds a bit more water damage onto each attack. Quite nice. So yeah, that's that one there. And then you've got the awesome combos. This is where really you're going to overpower the enemies, and that is with Festive Spirit. With this on a cooldown potion, you can actually have more than one out. This is the only skill rune on the skill which you can have more than one out at a time, and it pulls all the enemies towards it, and then takes a few seconds to appear. Now, it's a little awkward to use and maybe a bit different to other decoys. However, this in combination with Reign of Horror is exceptionally good, because what you can do with Reign of Horror is it fears the enemies and slows them. So you put down the Festive Spirit, you then I was going to kill off the target, so I can't actually target anything with Reign of Horror. But anyway, basically you put this down, it pulls them all together, you then Reign of Horror them just before it appears, and they'll all start running away. All the small enemies will start running away very slowly, and all the bigger enemies will just otherwise be slowed. And then you can just put the Festive Spirits slightly away from each other, and basically all the enemies will be pulled together around your Festive Spirits. However, all the small enemies can't attack them, so they don't really die. The decoys don't really die, and you can focus on the big enemies, or just otherwise the small enemies die to your pierce anyway. And you can kill them all off really quickly, as well as controlling them all and not really losing your decoys. That's the idea. Now, I played around with decoy level 99 because I do feel like there are some benefits of it in the boss fight. However, for getting through the rest of the map, it's a lot quicker to have it at level 10, simply because you don't really have any problem keeping the enemies away from you, so you don't need it as you don't need the damage redirection. And the cooldown, when you increase that, it means you can pull the enemies together less, and it just means your damage output drops, which was quite surprising to me. But anyway, that's the kind of build as a whole, and you'll see how it goes to play with it. I mean, it's one of those things I think that you probably need to see how it works in practice, rather than just theorizing about it. But I really love the combination of Festive Spirit and Reign of Horror. The two of those have some extra effects on them that are really cool, and just mean that you can control the map really nicely. One last thing to mention about Reign of Horror is the slow effect is very strong slow, and it goes on forever. So it's actually really useful to do on any enemy, just to keep them slow, and it means they really struggle to get towards you. So I'll put it on the bosses as well, just to slow the movement of the bosses, and yeah, it's just brilliant in all cases, even when you don't want to actually put the fear effect on and that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's it with a build. I'm now going to get on with the run, and yeah, hopefully no deaths, except for the insane boss that we'll get to, well, I'll talk about when I get to it. So we're going to start off by applying all the different basic attack buffs and getting a stone bear out. And then we can run straight into the fight, so I'm going to put a Festive Spirit, into there. Reign of Horror as soon as it appears. I was a little bit late there, but hey ho. And then I'm going to keep spamming the Festive Spirits while periodically using Reign of Horror. That's the idea. And making sure that the Festive Spirits, I place them slightly to the side of where the others are. That just means that the enemies have more trouble taking them down quickly. So now it should just be clearing up. Got the last enemy there. Last couple of enemies. You do a volley for a quick kill there. Okay, so then moving up to this fight, going to go exactly the same way. There is a summoner here who I'm going to try and take down. So Reign of Horror as soon as the Festive Spirit appears. And then try and find the summoner. Here we go. I just reapplied the buffs stupidly before they'd ended. Now we're going to be slightly slower for a while. Oh well. So we got the Shroud Shredder. I think I did get the summoner. Oh, I did. Cool. So we don't have to face the never-ending small enemies. That can be quite annoying. And I'm going to do the same thing here. There are two summoners here, but shouldn't be too much of a problem, because I can pull them all in. I find these ones are slightly easier to pull in for whatever reason. Oh, we've just lagged. It all seems safe. Okay. Kind of. One enemy got out to the side. But anyway. Oh no, it's two there. They're going it back in, thankfully. So yeah, that one got a little bit messy, but as you can see, it's back under control, and enemies being killed off. We've got a couple more. Where is that? Okay, there we go. Last one. Body hit. Cool. I've annoyingly got my buffs slightly out of sync. I'd quite like them to be together. Okay, there we go. Can put them back together. So I'm going to do it right on top of this guy. Now this guy actually has quite a lot of health, so I'm going to take him down as fast as I can by doing Mark of Ice, attacking a bit, and then doing volley. So that's him gone. Other enemies gone. There are a few serpents that appear here, so I'm going to put this down to the side and take this one serpent down really quickly. That's my plan. Okay, it appeared at the wrong time, but there you go. I'll take that one down over there. Start attacking the enemies. And, oh, actually I haven't got a stone bear, have I? Okay. Stone bear is quite useful there for that, it's the extra little barrier. It's gone straight in and attacked and died. But it's useful anyway. Okay, so we just got one serpent after this enemy. So I'll attack and kill that. Yeah, a few guys who like to... Ooh, okay. We've got a problem. One serpent that didn't come out. So as you can see, that's when I like to switch to a bit more tanking. Using those other skills that I have on. If I made a mistake like that and need to tank one enemy or whatever. So I'm going to Festive Spirit in the middle. Then Reign of Horror them. Pull them again. Actually need a bear. Oh, did those... Why did they go straight for me? That was weird. It's like they ignored the Festive Spirit. Oh, we've actually got a Shroud Impaler in here. I'm going to move to the other side, because we're having some problems. But yeah, now they're all going down. The Shroud Impaler's gone, so that's fine, because he can do a range attack that will hit beyond your decoys. So you need to make sure that you take down any Impalers. There's one a little bit later on that can be a bit of a problem because he's with some other nasty enemies, but it should be fine. Okay, we've got the bus back on. Oh, I need another stone bear. I haven't been good at reapplying that. Normally I can keep an eye on it. If I don't have my little bear next to me, then I know to put it back on. Okay, so I'm actually going to draw out this enemy here because he's just a bit annoying. I don't think he gets feared, so he can take down your decoys. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a decoy out there, get them all down, pull them all in, Reign of Horror. These imps actually go down ridiculously fast, so they're not a problem at all. As you can see, they're like all down now already. And then I guess I'll take down this guy as well. Got a couple of gargoyles too, so I'll take them down. Let's refresh my bear, he's healing. Okay, let's take down the Shroud Shredder, because he's got quite a lot of health still. Okay, so I'm going to put down one Festive Spirit, then I'm going to wait until I've got another one. Run in there, bring the enemies down, pull them together, and then easy pickings. If it didn't lag, it stopped me from attacking for a little bit there, I think. So it should be going down a little bit faster. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out these enemies because they... I don't want to be forced in like that. They have... what's it called? There's the Shroud Impaler in there now. And these guys are actually pretty annoying. So I'm going to make sure that I don't have trouble with them. So I'm going to try and click the Shroud Impaler. Yes, we got it. Okay, cool. So now we can take it down quickly with the Mark of Ice and stuff. One thing I want to mention as well is, as for the pulling effect that I'm doing, and putting them all together and using the slow and stuff to really keep them there, as well as the fear, like kind of sends them flying a little bit. If you add in an extra slow skill, or the static field, which has root as well. So this skill has air effect slow. If you use that as well, then it sends enemies flying all over the place, which can be good, but it kind of slows you down because you can't be grouping them all together so effectively, where you can kill them all off at the same time. Oh, I am so lucky that I survived that. I don't know how I survived that. That was very, very lucky. Okay, let's keep out of there, and take down these archers so I can then move in, and I can tank one enemy, just about. Just realised I didn't have the bear either. So now it's taking down the last enemy. Then we've got the bosses. So yeah, sending them flying everywhere can be good in some ways, but also it's a bit slow and a bit annoying. So not necessarily what you want to do. But if you have trouble controlling the enemies, I haven't done the best display of it. Normally I do a lot better than I have been in this video. But if you have any trouble controlling the enemies, then you can add that skill in as well to send them all flying literally everywhere. And yeah, that can be quite cool. So these bosses, they're each quite unique. This first one, you mainly got to make sure you put your decoys down slightly away from him. His melee attacks are very nasty, and when he does this, make sure you don't put them down where the meteors are going, and that do a little quick check to see where your current ones are. Oh, I actually need to Reign of Horror him to make the slow happen. So yeah, he's got that one little smash down as well. And so as you can see, I'm placing the decoys off to the side, and periodically using volley when I remember it. That's that boss down. This next boss, it creates some small enemies, so you've got to deal with them when they come. I'll do a Reign of Horror at the beginning. It actually moves pretty quickly, this boss, and has that slight air effect move, I think. I'm not really sure. So yeah, I pretty much ignore these small enemies and just do a bit of Reign of Horror on them, just to slow them down. They're not really going to be killing off the decoys then, and not actually cause me any trouble. And I'll deal with them when I messed up the sniper buff. I'll deal with them after this boss is dead, really. So now there's quite a few of them there, but I can take them out now. Actually, I can probably just ignore them, to be honest, even now. So this boss is a little bit trickier. He's got some nasty skills like this one. I stupidly just put that decoy in it, which it somehow hasn't died. I'm not sure how, but anyway. So you've got to watch out for when he does two different skills. One is a stamp attack that will destroy any nearby decoys, and then the other one is when he raises his hand in the air, he does a huge over effect. So you need to make sure you're way out, like now, except if it's lagging. Maybe I can't get out of range. It's fine. I did it. But yeah, so you need to dodge that one, and otherwise make sure there's something which he's going to go and attack. Stone Bear kind of goes in and dies, and you can actually draw the boss over to you. So he's not that great in this boss fight. However, by using him carefully, it works. Now this next fight is against the Serpent. The Serpent is just ridiculous. It's going to kill me. I cannot work out how to do it. It's literally like impossible to do. So I'm going to have to turn on invincibility, and it's just this poison attack which just instantly kills you. I tried to mess around with a level 99 decoy to try and tank it, but it doesn't work. Then nothing works. I don't know how you do this. You'd have to work in a party and just stand further down the stairs, like spamming in drakes and stuff like I showed on the wizard. But anyway, so I'm going to just pause the video and quickly kill this off. So I should have my invincibility off. Yeah, I do. Cool. I wasn't taking damage. It was bugged. Anyway, so this boss, he likes to create some enemies right next to you as soon as he appears, which is very annoying. However, he hasn't done it this time because I was dead. And sorry for that death, but yeah, I screwed up. I wasn't concentrating. Okay, so there's that move which you have to look out for. Mainly it's the little enemies that you've got to kind of pay attention to, and make sure there's a decoy between you and him. So I'm going to take out the enemies every time they respawn. That's the idea, and because they're going to cause problems if they're around, just because you want to focus on having the decoys between you and the boss, and if there are other little enemies running around too, then they can come and hit you from the sides and stuff. And so yeah, now we're all good. I'm just going to place the decoys kind of randomly around the boss, so they're close to him, and it should be all fine from here. It'll create some enemies about now. They should be coming soon. Or is he not going to do it? Just going to play differently this time, because I'm recording. He wants to show off, do it by himself. Okay, cool. So that's the boss down now. And that total run took about 12 minutes by the looks of it. However, that's with, skipping the boss fight, which is just ridiculous. I don't know how you do that. And in fact, I've been requested to do a video on the Ragnar. I think it's Ragnar. He's the toughest boss from the story, so I'm going to give that a go. Give that a go now, actually, and hopefully I can work that out, see how to do it, and make a video on it. So thanks very much for watching. I'm going to be doing a night 1 too, just before the end, because I actually don't have much time before the end of the festival, only like 4 hours. So yeah, it's all a bit rushed right now, me making these videos. But I hope you enjoy this Archer one, and showed you kind of how to play, how to control the enemies. I didn't do a brilliant job in this video. I normally do a little bit better with the controlling the enemies. I'm suffering with a bit of lag right now, which wasn't there before I was recording. But anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.